Welcome, listeners, to LENZO'S MEMOIRS. On this episode, our memories go back to the judgment by the judiciary as a government concerning OKUPE'S, the former media campaign DG for Peter Obi. But I am not talking because of Peter Obi or as regards Peter Obi. I'm talking only about OKUPE'S as a person that has a case with the federal government and the judgment the judiciary passed. Now, in 2019, EFCC arraigned OKUPE'S on a 59 count charges on money laundering and diversion of 702 million naira. That's 0.702 of a billion. The case started in 2019 and it's been concluded in a high court, and the judgment is just is more than appalling. And I really don't know how the judge got there based on all the evidences, because the judge found him guilty, but the judge did not find him guilty on 33 counts. Now, for one reason or the other, on the judgment or on the charges that he was found guilty, the judge calculated 500,000 and said he should pay within a certain time 13 million of our own money. I mean, some papers are saying it's 200. Whether it was 200 million, whether it's really 702 million, is it 13 million that is now due to us as Nigerians? I mean, is less than the tax of the transaction. I don't really know how the judge got there, but please just follow. These are the stories out there. The judge found him guilty for accepting cash in excess of threshold under the Act. The judge says that Dasuki is not a financial institution. Now, those two statements by the judge is what I'm now using to counter where he did not find him guilty. He was not guilty on counts 1 to 33 on grounds that the prosecution failed to establish the charge of money laundering and criminal breach of trust and corruption against the NSA. Now, how is she using the NSA in a judgment of OKUPE'S? Now, the interesting part to me is that criminal breach of trust in itself as a charge, it's almost like all-encompassing, because in any guilty verdict in that case, as far as I'm concerned, criminal breach of trust, once one penny has left where it is supposed to go, it is already criminal breach of trust. The money has moved. It has gone. Now, criminal breach of trust is defined thus: whoever brings in any matter entrusted with property or with any dominion over property dishonestly misappropriates or converts to his own use that property or dishonesty uses or disposes of that property in violation of any direction of law prescribing the model in which such trust is to be discharged, or any legal contract express or implied. Once you have been given money, government money, you see, what gets to me most concerning this case is the total lack of respect for the people of Nigeria in that judgment. These monies are huge. How did the judge get there? Someone makes away with over 200 million and you give him a slap on the wrist? You are now, I don't understand. As in, I understand the discretion of the judge in pronouncements, But these basically are between limits of this and that. I am not a lawyer, I confess. I'm an engineer and I'm just doing analytics based on reasoning. Because it's Nigerian money. These monies from Dasuki were meant for arms that were fighting insurgents. I mean, the magnitude of the entire matter has been, made nonsense of. We lost lives while this money was being diverted here and there. Real human lives. And the judge comes and turns it into a family matter. The wife and the son is now talking of how the thief, because he's a thief. Look, please, look at it now, 200 million. Will that not do a project somewhere in Nigeria? 200 million naira, 7. The monies are just mind-boggling. And the judge, one way or another, now diminished it to a family matter because the wife and the son now come to start testifying how good a man is. Good in what sense? And how can she explain and act? Is it that the rest of us did not go to school? We don't know what criminal breach of trust means? Our money. Now, if she has already said that Dasuki is not a financial institution, if she has already said that Dasuki is not a financial institution and the monies were not disclosed according to the EFCC Act, why and how did she now say he is not guilty of criminal breach of trust on our money? Because is it that there's an assumption? I always, ask these questions of government workers, those that handle these roles. Please, it's an intelligent country. The records and the stats are simply there for you to know. Nigerians are well educated. So when you now start to make these pronouncements, and I'm really tired of anything a judge does, it is only the NJC that can talk. There is now like a judicial supremacy. And this judiciary are not people we vote for at all. They get there based on promotions. And we need to really, the House of Assembly, we really need to sit down and, look at some of these our laws. It's not a constitutional change. The Constitution itself was written to be dynamic. So that as we develop, as we progress, you understand, we'll be doing away with some of these old laws and replacing with more current and dynamic laws. But how a judge is actually handled, the process is actually very annoying. Because I believe that for judgments should be looked at. Because this judgment makes no sense. And I remember when Vice President Oshibajo was telling the Supreme Court that they have a seemingly biased position towards technicality rather than common sense justices. This is not a common sense justice. You cannot say you don't find someone guilty of breach of trust when the money has gone. You are now saying he's a good man. I mean, is it that she doesn't understand what she's saying, the judge? She doesn't understand what she's saying, or she cannot piece the beginning and the end, and she just wanted to get there? Because it was highly comfortable. It was too comfortable, in fact. Because the judgment is now like, pay Nigeria, our money, pay us a token. It's even less than a token. It's actually an insult to our persons. Someone chop 200 million, may pay 30 million. 10% of 200 million is 20 million. I know, is it VAT that he's paying on top of the crime? You have already established that he has committed the crime, according to what she said. But you are now carving definition and sense over the charges. Because criminal breach of trust is trust. You see, when you are in a government office, when you are given a government role, the basic backbone of that contract is trust. Once what you are meant to do, you have not used the money, which is our property, to do it, you have actually committed that crime. It is not subjective. It is not subjective now. She's now saying they did not prove it. How are they supposed to prove it? Please, someone should please let it make sense to me. The money has left. The money has gone. The judge is now telling us now that don't you Okupe should hold all that money and pay Nigeria. You see, if that money was in a bank account, our profit would have been more than 13 million since this crime has happened. So how did the judiciary get there? Now, I will not always talk bad of the judiciary because I must add this. There was this case that this judge, in my own view, handled fantastically. And that was when the DSS wanted to arrest. They were looking for a court order to arrest the CBN governor. And the judge, rightfully in my own view, said that, look, whatever you say, it is not about it being true. But you need a presidential order to do it because of the position of a Emefiele. If you arrest him, we cannot afford that void. It's a financial economy now. That's what he sits on. So even if you have to do it, there must be a process that you will use. And that's a fantastic judgment. But I think all these judges, because a lot of responsibility rests on their shoulders. Yes, it's not easy for you to even judge even family matter. I agree. But please, let common sense prevail because it's just a circus judgment. You judge him today, the next day he pays and he's walking free. Not telling him to restitute property or anything like other judgments. Collapse the companies that he used. You are saying, yes, he's a thief, but he should just pay something. That's what you are saying. That's what I read from the judgment. And please, I really want to know, because if you agree that we should start questioning these things, you see, complaint is the basis of change. It is complaints that gets us there. Everybody being quiet and say that's how they do it will get us nowhere. Because if a judge can boldly come and says that someone that steals 200 million, you understand, should just pay 13 million and we let it go. People, let everybody start stealing now. Because is that how it's not going to run? So if you just steal 10 billion, you just come, just give Nigeria 100 million back and you go. It's a disgrace on the judiciary. And this NJC and what they are doing, please, we must look at these workings. Look, for our humanity to work as far as I'm concerned, the judiciary must have a supervisor. Because the way it's running in Nigeria right now is as if anything they do is gone. The NJC says that if a judge does anything, even that you must come to it. Why? A president, you don't go to anybody. A senator, you don't. Why is the judiciary? Why are they more important? How are they more important? We need to really reason some of these things. And please, if you feel there's any question or there's anything, let's just keep complaining together. Please help me share to those that matter, because make with the reason now. Let's reason together, please. This is to the world, but this is what we are facing in my own country. And wherever you guys still feel it, I mean, we should all, as a country and together, start thinking about our humanity. The breath of life is all we have. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. And I hope you will help me, listen, comment, share. Let's judge all. Let's start to, confidently, based on our intelligence, chart a part of our future that will give our children peace. Because the youth don't trust in the system, and these are the kind of judgments that cause it. Some people have been working, they have not been able to say 1 million. Someone will just come because of a role he has been given. He will make away with hundreds of billions. It can't continue. Thank you.